Now let's wrap up this episode with the musical artist of the week. This week's musical artist of the week is Igorrr. Igorrr. That's right, like Stravinsky, but 3 R's at the end. Igorrr. I don't know if it's supposed to be pronounced like that, but I think being a little bit confused is the point. I remember this band because they were recommended to me by Mike Stone, and we actually wrote a blog together last year called Mike Stone Forces Carl King to listen to his favorite metal bands. And you can find that on carlkingdom.com. Just search for it and it'll pop up. I'll also put the direct link in my show notes. Anyway, this week, Dr. Clownfart posted a song called Cheval inside my Discord. And if you haven't joined my Discord yet, this is the kind of thing you're missing out on. So thank you to Dr. Clownfart for the submission. Igorrr is an alias of a guy named Gautier Serre, a French person. He's a sort of composer, and Mike Stone assured me that Gautier can be seen playing guitar in the video, and he has an unusually shaped and textured guitar. That's all I know. The song title is French for horse, and it's pronounced kind of like cheval, with a sustained L. I can't quite do it. Cheval. It's a tough one, especially if you don't speak Frenchian. I'm guessing it's probably related to the words cavalry and cavalier. Cheval is, I think I almost got it that time, is from the Savage Sinusoid album, which is quite an eclectic recording from 2017, released by Metal Blade Records. And if you like variety and extremes, Savage Sinusoid is for you. This particular song has lots of complicated metal, but also a button accordion. Yeah, that's right, a button accordion. And that is a really mysterious instrument. I saw one of the guys in Farmer's Market play one at a live show in like 2003 or so. I think it was at the Starry Plow in Oakland. And boy, could that guy shred. Whatever happened to that guy? Is this the same guy? I don't know. Probably not. If you've never seen one of these button accordions before, a typical accordion has piano-like keys. You know, the black and white things. Well, this wild thing has multiple rows of little round buttons like an old-timey cash register or a typewriter. So it's got like 5 rows of those buttons, which I understand makes it chromatic, but beyond that, I have no understanding of how the notes are laid out. I don't know, maybe it's similar to how a guitar is laid out with multiple strings. I saw in the video that the bassist has an open-handed style where he plucks with both his thumb and his fingers, and I've never had any luck with that thumb plucking. Just can't get a consistent tone from it. My thumb sounds drastically different from my fingers. So I'll just stick with my green Dunlop Tortex plectrums, 0.88 millimeter. Cheval also has sections of beautiful operatic female vocals. It's a striking contrast to all that nonsensical male screaming. The drummer is, of course, quite technical, and the drum fills are mixed in this mechanical, triggery way that you would expect from this genre. And that brings us to the time signature. You could count this song in a couple of different ways, either in an up-tempo 3/4 or a tempo half that speed but 6/8. But because of the European melody and chords, I would go with the fast 3/4. You know, it's got that kind of pa, but very fast feel, even though the drummer is playing what would really be considered a 6/8 pattern. It's all just fine musicianship throughout. Carl King has no complaints. The YouTube video has 2.7 million views, so I'm definitely not the first person to be impressed by them. But if you were going to watch this video, you should be prepared for some tomfoolery. Just be careful because they do employ absurdity. And there's a large tradition of this in metal music, And I don't know why that is. Metal bands either take themselves way too seriously or they write songs about horses in French. Anyway, look up Igorrr somewhere on the internet. I'm posting a YouTube link to this specific video, Cheval, in the show notes. Okay, that's it for this episode of the Carl King Podcast. Remember to support this show by joining me on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Carl King. And thank you again to my $50 patrons, Chubode and Hank Howard III. And thank you to all of the listeners for listening. If you get a moment, let me know what you think of this episode. Leave a comment on YouTube or, just write me a nice review on Apple Podcasts because, hey, I want to hear from you. You can also email me at show@carlkingdom.com. Carl King will clairvoyantly see you in the next episode, and until then, have a great week.